Alrighty. It says we are live. Welcome everybody to the Knicks Nation YouTube. I'm here with Charlotte. Let's talk Knicks. Pleasure to join. Well, it's a pleasure again for you to join me. What's up?
Nothing much. Super excited to do this again. It was really fun last time. Viewers, if you can just show me that you can use the comment section, that'd be great. We just want to make
Yeah,
sure
right
that
now we just want to make sure that you guys can comment because last time you guys
we're
couldn't
not
comment
able.
because it was on YouTube Kids. So
Yes, make
this one.
sure to tell us if it's not working. That's would be really helpful if you're in the crowd and being like, can they even put in a hi or something? But yeah, we're excited to talk about Quentin Grimes tonight. We'll take some of your questions. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're gonna be rolling out a schedule probably of when we want to do these, maybe pre-game, post-game. So it's still in the works, but we're really excited to be here. And thank you guys, whoever's in the crowd right now. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you. I just tweeted out. Blah blah blah. All right.
Let's. I hope the chat's working. If you can tell us if the chat's working, that'd be great.
Let me see if I can write something in myself.
Okay. If you can't use it, please send one of us a DM. I know we were having trouble. We're still working through the kinks, guys. It's only our second show, so we're still working through the kinks, but we'll talk a lot tonight. I promise you'll get all the Knicks content you need for the night. I promise.
Yes. All right, so let's just get started into the what I really wanted to talk about. Obviously the YouTube picture shows that Grimes needs to start. I really want to start there. Quentin Grimes, second year guard, 22 years old. He shot 44% from corner threes last season. Only played about 44 games last season. His season got cut short due to injury. But when he did start, he was effective. So now that the Knicks obviously kept him out of the Donovan Mitchell trade rumors and trade talks, they obviously believe in him. And since they believe in him, you have to play him. In my opinion, you have to play him at least 30 minutes a game, maybe a little less than that. Tom Thibodeau, he loves playing like the veterans and stuff. So 30 minutes a game seems like a reach, but I think he can get it done, man. He's 22 years old and he can ball out. We've seen his defense. We've seen his shooting. He has a shot like Allen Houston. He reminds me of Allen Houston, his shot. Yeah, so, all right, the comments do work. Somebody said checking in.
Fire. Thank you, Happy Bear, for commenting. We did not know if it was working or not, so appreciate you.
Yeah.
Um,
So, yeah,
I
that's
think
my what do you have to say about Quentin Grimes?
yeah. Well, as in Nick's Twitterverse, as we all know, is the Cam agenda is real. People really want Cam to start. They want him to start with RJ and Brunson and Randall and Mitch. In my opinion, it would look it would not look the greatest if the Knicks were holding out Grimes throughout the trade talk, saying that like, oh, they were supposed to trade him for Donovan Mitchell, but then we withdrew him because we didn't want him going to Utah. We wanted him to keep in New York. So if you were withholding him through all these trade talks, you need to start him. Like this guy, you have high expectations for him. I think I think people need to understand Cam is not, in my opinion, I don't think he's going to get more than 15 minutes on this team right now as it stands. That's just my opinion. I don't see it. Thibodeau only runs a 9-man rotation. I don't see the vision. I would love for Grimes to start. I think it would be great. Embraces the young movement that we're trying so hard to play. We're all like, play the kids, play the kids, play the kids. But is Cam Reddish considered a kid? That's up for interpretation on anyone's behalf. I think with Quentin Grimes, yes, he did, like, people are like, oh, Cam Reddish had the same, like, shot better than him, and I'm like, they have completely different experience levels. Cam Reddish has been in the league how many years? I don't even know. Maybe 3, 4,
Since
right? What
RJ, but
years?
he was in the same draft class as RJ Barrett.
Okay, so he's
So
going into year 4, and
yeah,
Quentin's going into year
2.
what year? Year 2. there's a major difference in experience-wise. But it seems from the Woj and all the reports this summer, I don't want to get into that, but like it seems like the Knicks really believe in Quentin Grimes. And I believe personally, I think Cam Reddish really did secretly request a trade. I think so. And then Berman kind of picked it up.
Yeah.
And he probably didn't expect it to get out so public, in my opinion.
Well,
And
Berman
when
said that Berman corrected himself on a YouTube video and said that Cam Reddish prefers like another destination. Like he didn't really request a trade, but he prefers more playing time.
Of
And that,
course. And
yeah,
yeah,
and
makes sense. If I was Cam Reddish, I'm like, I want to get time. Like this is like I'm about to be in contract year. Like I need to get playing time. I understand that. I totally do. But I think at the same time, where the Knicks are headed, I don't see Cam Reddish on this team long term, and I see Quentin Grimes on this team long term.
yeah. Well, next year is essentially Cam Reddish's last year to prove himself, and then whether or not the Knicks ship him off in a package, including maybe Evan Fournier or maybe Julius Randle. Maybe they include him in a package, but I agree with you. Right now, I think Quentin Grimes has the edge over Cam Reddish. I don't think Cam Reddish even, to be honest with you, I don't even think he plays even 10 minutes a game. Maybe even 10 minutes a game, barring an injury. But, I get it. I get the love for Cam Reddish. I get his upside. People love his length. He's tall. He's about 6'8", a little taller than a little taller than RJ Barrett. I get it. He's appealing, but he hasn't. I mean, he's had that one good game for Atlanta in the playoffs that I remember when he dropped like 31 points or something like that. But other than that, he hasn't shown it. And then and the problem with him is when he shows something, then he gets hurt. And then once you get hurt, not only Tom Thibodeau, you got to fight your way back in the rotation. So, yeah,
I agree wholeheartedly. I think one of the biggest things with Cam, it also doesn't look the greatest if you go to a third team in fourth. Like by the time players like that, when they're scooting around the league so many times and they're not even in year 4, it's not a good look. Obviously something's gone. Atlanta makes sense, like, it just wasn't working out. He wasn't getting the ball enough. But I feel like the Knicks, the biggest problem with him is his defense. I know he's been working on it and everything, and I'm not a Cam Reddish hater, I'm not a Cam Reddish lover. I'm just right in the middle. I want fans to understand he is not getting more than 15 minutes, if that, on this team. It's just not happening, in my opinion. I don't see it because why would he why is he going to be played this much? A, Thibodeau barely used him last year when he was healthy. B, he had that whole injury last year. And
yeah,
C, we have all these kids that we need to play that we didn't trade for Donovan Mitchell, 3-time All-Star at 25 years old. You have to play the young guys. You have to.
yeah. So you were telling me that you were in a space and they were talking about Cam Reddish. What were some of the things that they were explaining to you or going over to you about him?
They were telling me, I don't know if they're in the YouTube, but hello if you are. Talking about free throw percentage, that he shot over 90%. He had similar numbers than Quentin Grimes, and Grimes got more minutes than him. That Cam Reddish that I said, when I said that he's not getting more than 15 minutes a game, they were like, wow, like what? Like they were so. I don't know why there's so much surprise. I don't get the obsession with Cam Reddish. I don't hate him. I don't love him. I just like I'm like, I want to see him succeed. I really do. But I think in the spaces today, at least, they really, really want him to start. They think he's the best player on this team. He has untapped potential, and they don't understand why he won't get playing time.
I feel like that's just Knicks fans falling in love with the unknown, and I feel like we as fans, we always every year there's always somebody who that we either fall in love with or we think that's going to become the next star. It happens a lot, even with our young players, especially. Last few years was Frank Ntilikina was the darling of the town. He was pretty much, you said one bad thing about Frank and everyone on Twitter went crazy. But
It was
I feel like
crazy.
that's a part of it. I feel like fans fall in love with the upside more than they fall in love with, the actual play. And I just think that's part of the Knicks culture as fans. That's part. I'm not gonna get crazy over it because I get it. We haven't had a good product in since 2012 and 2013, but yeah, the Cam Reddish. I don't. I just like you said. I don't see him playing more than 10 minutes, if that. Because who's he gonna get minutes over right now? They just told us that they're not trading Grimes for Donovan Mitchell, so he's not getting minutes over Quentin Grimes. He's not getting
And
minutes. Go
yeah,
ahead.
no, sorry, keep going. My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
He's not.
Um,
He's not getting minutes clearly over RJ. I mean, you got sort of a log jam back there. But if you ship away, the thing is, if you ship away Evan Fournier, now that opens up minutes. So Cam Reddish can essentially take Evan Fournier's spot, and he can essentially be that 3 and D guy. He's a good slasher. He's a great athlete. Um, yeah, you just have to get rid of Evan Fournier right now because he's the if fans want Cam Reddish to play, I think he's the block that needs to be removed for him to play.
Also, the thing with Cam is we traded a first round pick. I know it's 1 through 18 protected from Charlotte, and it's now in Atlanta. I want to get value back for him. And I see some trades on my Twitter line like, oh, like we give up Evan and Julius, but like we get 3 second round picks. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, I want to get value back. If we're going to trade Cam Reddish, which I'd prefer not to, but I totally understand because there's just not enough time in the game for him to play. And he probably wants to get out too. And if he's not going to get, I'm telling you, if the office was probably like, you're not getting more than 17, if that even, maybe even 15, maybe 11. It really does. If they don't give him a hard commitment, they're going to try and trade him. But at the same time, where's the value? Like, I'm not 3 second round picks. Like, we already have 11 of those. I
Yeah,
don't
we
really
don't need
need,
any more. I mean, it's good to have excess amounts of picks. Knicks obviously have a lot of them, but
yeah, but
it's
I don't see the value in just trading Cam Reddish for second round picks because I think if we traded him like at the trade deadline, maybe this year, you could see maybe a playoff team maybe wanting him off the bench and just be a catch him up shooter, and you might get some more value. Um, a lot of the people asking are like, "Are the Knicks done? What do you think?" Like, do you think the Knicks are done this offseason?
I don't. I think if anyone's going to be moved, it's going to be Evan Fournier. I don't think me personally. I don't think Julius Randle is going anywhere. Because they believe in him, and you see him responding today on Instagram to fans, some positivity. So I believe if there's going to be a move, I believe Evan Fournier is the one that's going to go out. And depending on who they get back, there was a rumor today that they're interested in Bogdanovich from Utah, which would be interesting because that doesn't really make sense to me. Because if you're shifting to the youth movement, he doesn't make sense. So if they trade for him, that just means that they're trying to win still, and they're not going to play these young players, all the minutes that we want them to play. So
And
I
that
saw that
brings me,
today and was very interested in that
yeah,
one.
no, I saw that today too, and I don't really understand it because it's another piece for a logjam. Why are you bringing on another veteran? I get it if you're going to offload like someone like Evan. Maybe I don't want to deal with Utah anymore. If I'm being honest, like
Yeah, I don't want
why?
to deal with him though. He would have been a good add-in if they were trading with like obviously if they got
Yeah,
Donovan Mitchell, he
I'm
would have
not.
been a
I'm
good
not
ad
helping them
piece.
out. I'm not helping them out. I don't want to talk to Danny anymore. I don't want to talk to Justin.
Yeah, as soon as Danny calls, I just want to hang up the phone and be like, sorry, I don't
And the
want to
fun
deal with
fact,
you anymore.
Danny wasn't even on the phone. It was all Zlanik, Justin Zlanik for the Utah Jazz, and for us, it was Rosas.
Which
Not
was
Leon.
interesting. I saw that too.
Rosas was the one on the phone. If you don't know Rosas, he came from Gerson Rosas came from the Minnesota Timberwolves and was fired from them for not. I think the reason was like their front office wasn't stable enough, and he had a relationship with an employee.
Correct.
So he was let
Yeah.
go, and the Knicks picked him
Allegedly,
up.
I think.
Allegedly, again, allegedly. The Knicks picked him up, and then he now was the reason he dealt with the talks with Utah is because he has apparently a relationship with Justin Zlanik. like a friendship. They know each other. So, but I don't really agree with like having someone that you like know because you understand their tactics of trading. I would have put someone else on the phone. I don't care about personal relationships. Like this is business. Like put
Yeah,
those aside.
I would have had Leon on the phone.
Yeah.
Get on the phone, negotiate. You're an agent. You've negotiated contracts. You know the deal. Um, it just seems like ever since Leon has come here, he doesn't like the media. He doesn't really, he keeps to himself, which I respect. You don't need to talk to the media. You can talk to Mike Breen, which he did. You can have an interview with the MSG Network, but I would have preferred Leon to negotiate. But hey, it is what it is. That's the past. So what else did I want to get into? I also wanted to get into Brunson because I feel like a lot of people are undervaluing what Jalen Brunson can bring to this team. Um, because Jalen Brunson. It wasn't too long ago when Jalen Brunson was getting buckets over Donovan Mitchell. Let's not forget that Jalen Brunson was balling in the playoffs. He was getting buckets. He was averaging over 20 minutes a game. No, more than that, 25. Probably averaging 20 points a game in the playoffs. He was getting buckets over Donovan Mitchell. So I just wanted to talk about him and give him some shine because I feel like, the Donovan Mitchell talk sort of suppressed the Jalen Brunson signing. So I just wanted to give him some love and I wanted to know your thoughts on, Brunson. And I feel like fans are forgetting that we actually have, in my opinion, a legit point guard now.
Um, love Brunson. Love him. I will get into it, but viewers, if you want to put some questions in, if you like have any burning questions that you want us to talk about, would appreciate if you guys throw in some questions in the chat. Would appreciate any comments, but I'll talk about Brunson for a little bit. I think people are not understanding what this guy actually brings to the floor. We pull up a clip right here. This
Yeah.
is against the Utah Jazz. So this was the playoff series. Like look at that finishing. Like that's or I guess did he finish? I don't know if he finished that bucket, but I think at the same time as I talk about Brunson, a lot of people are starting this narrative like, oh, he was just brought in because he's the godson of Leon Rose. Like there's nothing else to it. Like the reasons he's here is because he's Leon and
He's
but like
Leon's nephew,
he's Leon,
right?
like, but that's not it. Like, look at these
Yeah.
clips. Like, look, we did not have this. Like, I can imagine Brunson and Mitch right there.
Yeah.
But I think Brunson finally gives us the stability at the one. He's gonna have some leadership. He wants to. From when I was listening to his interview with MSG Networks, he wants to be involved in leadership. He wants to lead this team. He provides stability. He was the
He has
best
that
point
it
guard.
factor to me. He has that New York. Sorry to cut you off. He has that New
No,
York,
you're fine.
he has that New York swag, that we haven't
Yes,
had in
I
a
think
point
he
guard.
does. Um, I think a lot of people are not taking into account like this team has not had a point guard for so long that we're just not used to it. We don't know what a point guard is. Like it's such a difference. Yeah, maybe the first couple games are going to be hard for him to like gel with the team and they have a lot of time and I see that they're going, they played in that pro am game together. Like they're getting together, they're playing games together. I think that at the same time Brunson provides stability for this team. He's a scorer. He can go to the hoop. He can shoot. He really can do it all. And he, without Jalen Brunson, Dallas Maverick fans will tell you this: they would not have won that Utah series.
No,
They
not
just
at
wouldn't.
all.
They just wouldn't. And the Utah Jazz were a great team. Um, Donovan Mitchell apparently was injured, but I don't care. I'm not talking Donovan Mitchell, but I think that we just haven't had a team with a real point guard. And it's going to be a difference this year. And I hope that Knick fans understand that how much of a difference Jalen Brunson is going to make. Like, he is amazing. Like, look at these moves you're watching right here. Like, yeah, okay, we had Kemba, but no one's making these
That's
moves.
that's why I wanted to bring it up because as I stated, I feel like, Brunson, we signed him to 4 years, and I feel like he's right now in the back end of every Knicks fan's thought. They're just thinking about play the kids and this and that, which is cool and all, but we also did sign a really good point guard, and we signed a point guard that's really good in the postseason, which is really important because as we've seen with Julius Randle, some people disappear in the postseason, and some people just don't have that it factor. And this guy has it. He's undersized. Yeah, he's 6 foot, but he can shoot. He can. He's crafty. He can run the pick and roll with Mitchell Robinson and Isaiah Hartenstein off the bench, and even Obi. So I just wanted to give him some love. Um, yeah, that's pretty that's pretty much it.
I agree. I feel like when you play a game in MSG, it really acts like the atmosphere, whether it's the Charlotte Hornets or the Pistons or the Heat, any team in the NBA, it's always going to feel like a playoff atmosphere because of how much energy MSG brings to you. I think I just want people to understand that a point guard on this team is going to make a difference. Am I saying that we're going to be a playoff team? No. But you're definitely going to see a difference with the spacing. You're not going to see, hopefully, Julius Randle bringing up the ball and clearing everyone out. Jalen Brunson's going to command. He has a voice. I wish that RJ had the type of voice that Jalen Brunson had, but it's fine.
He'll get
I
there.
really
I think he'll get there. I think RJ.
at the same time, like
We've talked
as
about
a
that
point
last
guard,
time. I think he grew his voice towards the end of the season.
yeah. Yeah, I can't wait to see Jalen Brunson with this team. I think if Julius Randle gets his act together, RJ starts clicking on all atmospheres. Brunson's running the offense. You got IQ and Derrick Rose, and then you got Isaiah Hartenstein. You got Obi in there. Like it's a solid team. It's not like amazing. It's not bad. We're right in the middle. And this is not the year I want to be like right there because of this draft coming up.
Yeah, and as you stated last episode, you don't think that the Knicks are a play-in team, which I disagreed. I think they are at least a play-in team because with the signing of Brunson, people are also underestimating the signing of Isaiah Hartenstein. I think with those two, especially with Hartenstein off the bench, I think he's a massive upgrade over Nerlens Noel. Last season, Nerlens Noel couldn't catch a cold. He couldn't catch anything, But so yeah, I think they're a playing team. I think they have to be a playing team, which yeah, I think would be a good step in the right direction. These young players, they have to ball out. They have to show that, okay, you didn't trade me for Donovan Mitchell. I'm gonna go out there and prove you that you were right. So yeah, I just wanted to give Brunson some love. What else did you want to get into? We can also get into the signing of Hardenstein because I think
Yeah, he's
he's a
not
little
getting enough
bit
attention.
he's a little
I
bit
think
flying under the radar too, in my opinion.
I agree
Because
1,000%. I think people are not like we're all talking about Brunson, but like iHeart is going to make a big difference on this team. I maybe a
you
lot
think
of
so?
Knicks fans probably. I really do. I think he's going to be a difference maker. Um, he's a major upgrade from Nerlens Noel. Have to say it. I agree. Nerlens Noel couldn't catch a ball, and now we got Isaiah Hartenstein. We got some highlights for you guys to watch. This guy is going to make a difference. He is going to be that like Michael Beasley off the bench type, gives that energy pump off the bench and really hammering home what we need. Look, he can also dribble. Like he can
He's
shoot out.
seven. He's 7 foot. People forget that too, and
He is
he's a 3-point assassin.
Yes. Um, he and also what I like about which we just showed here, he can set a real pick, and I think that's what the Knicks were really missing. Jalen Brunson needs a player to set a hard pick so he can drive, and then maybe iHeart can just drop out. He can pop out, or he can drive to the basket, and they can do like a little pick and roll action, which I would like. See, right? Look, he catches the ball right in front of the um top of the key, catches it smoothly, and turns face to the basket, and then goes right for a layup. We've never had a center like that.
Never, and which
Mitchell
is why I
Robinson.
think. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. No, I was just saying that Mitchell Robinson has not yet shown that he can dribble like that or be active as much as Isaiah Hartenstein was with the Clippers.
Correct. And Mitchell Robinson, right now in his career, he's sort of a lob catcher and good rebounder, great defender. Last year he had his moments, but he's been inconsistent. For me, Mitchell Robinson has to average a double double this year. He has to be that rock, that center, that get. I mean, he got paid this offseason. I mean, he got paid $60 million. I mean, for which is a pretty good contract. But I do think that Hartenstein is being a little bit underlooked because, as I said earlier, he can shoot the three. Granted, he didn't take that many threes last season, but when he did take them, they were going in. So you give that bench unit with Derrick Rose, Emmanuel Quickly, possibly Evan Fournier on the bench. We'll see. But you give that up tempo bench unit a good 3-point center that can shoot the three, and he can also get to the basket, and he's crafty underneath the basket. This guy isn't a slouch, and I think Knicks fans over the last month and a half have forgotten about the signings that we've signed, and I honestly do think this guy was a great pickup.
Yeah. I think he's going to make a major difference on this team. I think people are forgetting how much he can stretch the floor. Yes, it was limited Here we go. 3 right there. Look how calmly he knocks it down. Super
He's a
solid.
lefty. He's a lefty too, crafty lefty.
7-foot lefty who can shoot the 3. Sign me up.
With
Literally
ease.
like yesterday. I don't care. Sign me up.
Yeah.
I think Isaiah is going to be a really big fan favorite in New York. I think once people really see him get going and in the offense, I think he's going to be that player that Thibs loves off the bench. If Mitch, hopefully not this year, gets injured, we have iHeart to back him up. But like, look at that right hand in the face, shoots it. Like there's no, and over Jericho, that was against us.
Yeah.
Jericho's a big guy. Like he's not gonna back down. But look, people are daring him to shoot
Listen,
three.
I love this signing when they sign him. Like I even
Yeah.
tweeted it. Like I love this is such an undervalued guy around the league, and he was one of the first people to sign. And
Yeah.
I think that the Knicks know what they have in him. Yeah, I loved it when they signed him.
But look
To
at
be
this.
honest,
He can pop and then right there, calmly shoots it. I can't
sh-
wait for the iHeart threes.
yeah, he shoots it with ease.
Yeah. He looks confident. That's the thing. I think what we forget is that some of these players, like, it's all a mental game for them. Look at iHeart. He's just hand in the face, no problem, knocks it down.
Yeah,
And this is like, it's crazy because I really think having a center that can shoot threes, again, iHeart had limited opportunity. Everyone's like, oh, he didn't shoot that many. You're watching a highlight reel right now of all his threes. So don't tell me he didn't shoot enough.
granted,
Because
they're like most of them are wide open, but hey, when you got
they
Derrick
are
Rose
they are
going
wide
in the paint
open,
and
but
Brunson, yeah,
yeah, they are wide open. But some of them are our hands in the face. Like I think some of them we've been going through. Like this guy's right up on him. Let's see if that happens there. But okay, see. Well, that wasn't completely open, but it was
like
open.
to
But I
get
think
yeah.
it got late on the back. But I think that when iHeart is coming off the bench, it's going to make a difference and it spaces the floor and even more because now we used to be so uncomfortable with Mitch guarding the 3-point line. Now we have iHeart to counter other teams' offenses. So it'll be good.
Yeah, and that's the thing with I think that would help Evan Fournier if he were to stay on this team, um, because you would have him who set the Knicks record in threes made last season. You would have IQ, who's a 3-point assassin. You would have Hartenstein who could shoot the three. You would have Obi who could shoot the three, as he's shown late in the season. He actually improved his shot. Who am I missing? Maybe even Reddish. Maybe he gets playing time and he could shoot the three. So your second unit would essentially have 5 people who can spread the floor, shoot the three. Our offense, I think next year is going to be pretty good.
I have high look, I know Mo, shout out him if he's on this live stream. He's always thinking that the Knicks could be a top 10 defense next year. I don't see that personally.
Top
I'm
10
setting the
defense?
bar. Yeah,
I don't know about that.
I know.
What did we
I
finish
agree.
last year? I think we did finish top 10 last year, if I'm not mistaken.
It was like right around,
Which is
right
shocking
around.
to me.
Yeah. I have some questions coming through the Twitter DM. If you guys can instead put it on the YouTube so I'm not on my phone during this, that would be great. Someone just DM
Yes,
me. What are
please
these?
send questions to the YouTube chat so we
That'd
can
be
see it
great. Not in
easier?
our DMs, please. It's so much easier for both of us. I love interacting with the DMs, but I'm on YouTube Live. I don't want to be on my phone.
Yeah.
Someone's asking the reality of Bojan coming here. I don't see it happening. I think it's all smoke. It's not happening. Sorry.
You think it's all
I'm not.
smoke?
I would never deal if someone. Let's just do a scenario. I'm trying to make a business deal. I'm trying to make a business deal. Falls through, they go with someone else. Now they're coming to me and being like, you want Bogdanovich? Like, you want this house instead?
Yeah, I
Walk
would be
away.
like, get the F out of here.
Get out of my face. I don't want him. First of all, why am
I
I helping
mean,
you trying to get
but
out of your mouth?
essentially, you're as a general manager, you have to run a team, so you can't essentially, screw them off like that. You have to do what's best for your team at the end of the day. So I get it though.
I also don't want him because he's a veteran and we don't need another veteran on this team when we're trying to embrace the youth movement. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Um,
It didn't
I don't
make.
know.
I mean, I think he has one more year after this one, if I'm not mistaken. But the only way
Yeah.
that would make sense for me is if they
Oh yeah.
got Donovan Mitchell with them, because then you would have another 3-point shooter off the bench. But having him, it just, yeah, it does. It depends when we get back for him. Like if maybe if they want to attach a first that they got, maybe I'll do it, and so we can get off of Evan Fournier because I think his contract ends before Evan Fournier's contract. So
It
maybe
does.
they do that. Maybe they do that swap, and then they get an
I don't
asset
want
with it.
to. I don't want to. I really
You
don't
just
want to
don't want to
attach a first
entertain
round
it
pick.
all in all.
Yeah, I don't really want a first round. I really don't want a first round. I don't want to attach a first round pick. I really
No, I'm
don't. It
saying
just
maybe Utah attaches a pick.
Oh, well, I don't think they're going to do that. They need to keep all their picks. I don't see them attaching a pick to
You
just
don't see them
because they think when I talk to the Jazz fans all summer, they think Bogdanovich can get them at least a first. I'm not giving up a first for him.
from a contending team. I see that, but then again, you have to. I mean, look, he's a good player. He's a good player off the bench. He can shoot the three at a high percentage rate. Yeah, he can help a team that's contending. But the Knicks, when I saw that, I was like, nah, I don't believe this at all. And even if I did, I don't see the Knicks doing it.
I don't either. I just think that I'm not giving away a first to get another vet. Yes, Bogey's a great player. I think he can give a lot, but Knicks are not the right situation for him. If you guys are in the crowd, love some just questions. You guys are always bombarding both of us with questions in the DMs. Why don't you just put them in the YouTube? Yeah, I guess the next topic, if you guys want to hear any topics that you want us to debate about or talk, I know Anthony and I kind of disagree about the play-in stuff, but we talked about that last time. So if you're wondering about play-in talk, first episode on the YouTube channel, if you're not already, like and subscribe, share the YouTube, tell all your Knicks fans. We're gonna go until like around 8, but
Yeah, 8 o'clock. We're gonna
we're
cut it
gonna
off. So we
stop.
got like
But
20, 25 minutes left. But
yeah, we could talk about Tom Thibodeau. Seems like a hot topic. Do you like Tom?
Tibbs, the great Coach of the Year winner, Tom Thibodeau. It's a hot topic in Knicks land, as you know that. I found myself last season defending him more often because I just felt like he got way too much brunt of the blame. I just felt like fans were blaming him for like every little thing. They weren't blaming the players for anything. They were just blaming Tom, like everything was Tom's fault. And look, he's a scapegoat. I get it. But let's not forget what he did 2 years ago. We essentially were a fourth seed. Yeah, we got slammed against the Hawks, but Tom Thibodeau, look, if I think he's a. The thing about Tibbs is, I think he's a good coach for a team that is contending. I don't think for this current team, I don't think he's the right coach because his coaching style doesn't really mesh with what the front office wants to do. And look, we talked about this last episode. What does the front office want to do? We don't know their plan. Do they want to go in the direction of play the youth, or do they want to actually win?
And
This
that's my whole thing. I don't think they've picked fully a direction because I think some of the office wants to go win now and was in favor of getting someone like a Donovan Mitchell, and the other side wants to see what the youth really have. I don't really know what side I'm on because it's so complicated because you never know. Like if Obi doesn't turn out to be anything, I don't want to hear another word from people on Twitter. I really don't. Everyone's hyping up Obi. I think he's gonna be good. I think he can be good. Would I have traded him for Donovan Mitchell? Probably. I was always on the side
It
of
would
going
have
for Donovan
it would have
Mitchell.
hurt, but I would have done it. But you're saying if Obi doesn't
Obi
turn out to
Toppin's
be
not
anything,
Obi Toppin's not producing anything this season, and then Emmanuel quickly takes like a slide, and Quentin Grimes. The office is going to look like complete bleep. Um, I just like like you say these young guys, you have so much hope, and then they just don't
yeah,
do anything for you. Come on, like
yeah,
you got to show me something. You got to show me something for hope. And my whole thing with the young guys, here we go with my little rant. The whole thing with the young guys is you need to understand is sometimes they don't turn out. Like we had Frank Ntilikina, we had Kevin Knox. You
yep.
want me to keep going? No, I'm sure no one does. I think we need to
Those were the
understand.
two. Those were the two that I feel like set us back more than Knicks
Oh,
fans
of course,
realized.
Frank Ntilikina draft, like the
Yeah,
amount of prospects we could have gotten instead. But again, that was Phil Jackson. We got to move on. But
but
I
yeah,
hate when people are like, "Oh, this office like won't get anything done." Like why won't they fire Thibodeau? Like Thibodeau's not going anywhere. Sorry, it's just the truth. He's not. I
yeah.
don't
The
think
only
Thibodeau gets fired in 25 games, 35 games. Maybe if the season is really bad, yeah, maybe someone will get fired in the office or in the coaching staff. But I don't think he's going to be let go. Just me.
the only way I see Thibodeau getting fired is obviously if the Knicks don't make the play-in, and if they completely miss out on the play-in tournament, if they maybe they're hypothetical, like say they find themselves in a 10-game losing streak in season, and everything is going poorly. Let's say Grimes is playing poorly, Obi's not improving quickly. Let's say one of them is improving quickly. He's actually playing well, and let's say Julius is doing what Julius is doing, and let's say RJ is stuck in this 20-point per game score. He's not really efficient again, and I feel like that's the only way I see Thibs getting canned. And I feel like once he gets fired, that puts the pressure on the front office because I don't think
Yes.
that I think the front office has at least 2 more years, in my opinion. I think Thibodeau, this could be Thibodeau's last year.
I don't think James Dolan's very happy with the office right now because if it was up to him, he would have traded for Donovan Mitchell the first week that we were in rumors. Because that's how James Dolan works. He wants this team to win. It is New York, so they'll always make money off of it. But I'm giving the office like 3 more years. Do I agree with trading out of the draft? No, because I don't I think that if you knew the price that was going to be for an all-star. You knew you're going to be dealing with Danny Ainge. She's a serpent in my eyes at least. You knew he's going to demand a lot. You gathered all these picks. I would have rather just gone go get Jaden Ivey. Like you're going to gather all these picks, but then don't get Donovan Mitchell. Instead, we just sit back, collect picks. We help the Pistons for some reason. But
Do you
whatever.
think they
We
would
apparently
have?
have a relationship. Rosa, someone in the office, or sorry, Scott Perry has a relationship with Weaver, their GM. So like they're very close, and like we basically help them out because I don't know why exactly, but the reason we were talking to them so much is because of the personal relationships. I'm noticing that the Knicks only trade with people that the office has relationships with. That's what I find
Yeah,
very weird. Like if we don't have a personal relationship, we're not getting on the phone, which kind of
like
concerns me.
we've traded with Detroit quite a bit, which kind of shocked me, and them not getting Ivy. But do you think they would have traded that 11th pick if they would have known Donovan Mitchell was available? Because I think the Donovan Mitchell news took them by surprise. I think they would have been better off picking at 11 and maybe including that 11th pick in the trade for Donovan Mitchell, and maybe they could have gotten away with maybe 2 unprotected first round picks, you know, and RJ
I
Barrett.
would have. It's just confusing me because, like, I'm putting myself in their shoes. Like, you're at 11 pick. You really want this kid, Jaden Ivey, but the price
Mike
is
D,
really
what's up in
steep.
the chat?
Yeah, what's up, Mike? Send us some questions if you guys want to talk about anything. But we're talking right now about what happened with the draft, and but like we're just previewing the whole summer and basically the team for next year. But
Yeah,
if I'm in their shoes, I'm sitting at the 11th pick. Jaden Ivey's taking at least 3 or something, not 3, but some crazy price Sacramento wants.
I know they
Um,
really wanted Jaden Ivey. They
they
really
re-
wanted him,
the office
and they
loved him. I've never seen a player when when Jaden Ivey was interviewing um with
he
the New
wanted to
York,
come. I mean,
he
everyone
wanted
wants to
to
be a
come
Knick.
here. He
Everyone wants
wanted
to
to
be a
come here.
yeah. Yep.
Like, I know, like, we're always like, people make fun of Knicks fans, like, oh, we're delusional. We think every player wants to come here. Not every player. Rookies. Jaden Ivey saw the opportunity. He's in the Mecca. He's got New York. Like, it's a fun opportunity. I think if I'm sure he wouldn't have chosen them. Like, he knew that it was going to be Sacramento Pistons or New York. I don't think he was
Yeah.
following anywhere else. But if I
I'm
was in that,
wondering I'm wondering what the Knicks were offering for that pick, but hey, it's the past.
definitely low ball, 100% low ball,
Yeah.
100%. They were
It,
not going to offer any of the kids. If honestly, I thought would have gotten it done, you'd have to give up at least, like, I don't know, like 2 unprotected, right? Something around there,
something around that range, maybe.
and like
Yeah,
a
two
swap, and
unprotected
then maybe
and
a
like a
kid.
swap.
You
Yeah.
would have to give up maybe like an IQ or
Detroit would have been
grind.
blown away by the deal if they were not, because if you believe it, then that Jaden Ivey can be the next star point guard, then
He's
you
going to
pick him
be.
or you, yeah.
He's
But
going to be. I'm
like,
telling you, we're gonna look back in 10 years. Should have traded for him, but it's fine.
yeah,
It's not a big deal. I think gotta live and learn. The problem is, I don't think it was the right decision not going to get Jaden Ivey. But yes, I'm very happy with Jalen Brunson, of course. But I
yeah,
think Jaden Ivey would have been really special, and I would have given up 2 unprotected and Obi to get Jaden Ivey. That's just my opinion. I would have done it.
yeah. But hey,
I would have
it
done
didn't
it.
happen. So
It didn't happen, so it's time to move on to actual reality.
yeah, exactly. And like I was saying, they didn't pick 11. For they traded it to Detroit. Like they traded
Yeah.
it, yeah. And then they basically traded it to open up cap space to sign Brunson. Now that we have Brunson, we have our point guard, an expensive point guard, but hey, we got our first question
Got a
in the
first
chat.
question. Shout out Mike D. Wasn't the plan all along to land Brunson? So if that's the case, why overpay? I think they were interested in Brunson. All like, look, they went to
I
that
think
playoff game with.
Brunson was their ultimate fallback. I think they always knew that they had Brunson in their back
He
pocket,
wanted to come here. He was
but
like, yeah, like
I think they really wanted Jaden Ivey, but I think they also really knew that if worse comes to worse, Brunson was their fallback option.
I think that they were looking to go maybe in a different direction, but they always knew that they had Jaden Ivey in their pocket. Do I think that they wanted someone like a Jaden Ivey more than Jalen Brunson? Yes. Yes. Because now they're dealing with tampering issues, which is annoying. But like, we're just gonna worst case, just to give everyone like a food for thought, is like, I think worst case we lose like 2 second rounders, maybe if a first. I don't think that will happen, but I think maybe a couple seconds. And if we see like, oh, we'll get those seconds back from the bogey trade, I'm not like, that's so dumb to say. I heard someone say that on Twitter, like, if we lose seconds, like we can just get some seconds back, like trading for a vet. I'm like,
Yeah, I
well,
don't think it's going to be a first round pick that they give up.
no, that'd be
For that.
crazy. You have to do something really bad to get a first round pick taken away. But Mike, to answer your question, I think that yes, they were thinking they were going to get Brunson because they went to that playoff team. The connections are really strong. Leon's son represents him. We've been over this 1,000 times, but so if that's the case, why overpay? I think it wasn't an overpay. I think they were really trying to get Jaden Ivey, and also trying to pair Brunson with other pieces because right now, our quote unquote big three, Randall, Barrett, and Brunson, compared to the rest of the East, you cannot compare. So,
No, you can't. And that's why you think that they're not going to be the playing team.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is, look, everyone, I saw a quote from, who was it today? Van Gundy, who said that, look, the Knicks they have a good team, but compared to teams in the East, they're not really competing, you know? Now that Donovan Mitchell's
Great.
in Cleveland, it's kind of hard to compete in the East. The East is becoming the old West with all of these stars coming to the East now. So, look, they have an uphill battle, but I think we're in the right direction. But I feel like the plan is going slower than they expected. But I don't essentially think that's a bad thing.
Um, I don't know. There's just like a lot of situations that's happened with the Knicks in the last like year or ever so since Leon Rose because I don't want to critique the past offices because they're not important anymore. I just think
Yeah,
some certain situations in my, like sometimes in my head I'm like, what is Leon Rose really doing for this team? Is he just all face? Because he's never on the phone. He's not the one making the decision. So like, what is he doing? I don't think
yeah.
that conversation has been opened up enough. And I feel like Leon Rose was brought here, CAA president, finally have someone stable in charge. But what is he really doing for this office? Because we've known Scott Perry was on the phone, Rosas was on the phone. I don't know, maybe some other people were on the phone, but like, what is Leon Rose really doing for this team?
Leon Rose is a touchy subject, especially on Knicks Twitter. I've seen some arguments today about Leon Rose. Some believe in him, some don't. Just like the young players, some believe in them, some don't. I think both sides have a valid argument. Either way, I feel like it falls somewhere in the middle. I don't. I agree with you mostly. I don't like he's done a. If I were to give Leon Rose a grade, it'll probably be a C plus. Like I don't think he's at a B yet, considering how far we've fallen last season. 37 wins, missed the play-in. Seems like everyone took a step back, even the coach. It was a disaster. So I
It
I
was a
I,
complete disaster.
I
Complete
agree with
disaster. And how we treated Julius Randle, not how we treated, but how we handled, let me reiterate, how we handled the whole situation was completely wrong. I would never, if I was some, do not let it, like, what, you're making it him think like it's okay to do. Maybe there were conversations behind the scenes, I'm sure there were, but like paying off his fines, um, letting him get away, throwing clipboards, getting in arguments with the assistant coaches, there's no accountability. And I hope this season we have accountability for this team because right now, as it stands, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
yeah. Um, I don't know either. I feel like they're in a tough spot because you I'm a Knicks fan. I've been a Knicks fan since I was a kid, 7 years old. Haven't really seen that much winning, but it's like that's why I really wanted Donovan Mitchell because I felt like even with him, you had enough assets to maybe go out and get another star. But hey, they didn't get him. Now we're going to this youth movement, which I feel like we've always like every year. I feel like it's a youth movement, and I feel like somebody has to pop off eventually. Somebody has to take it by the throne and say, "Look, I'm an all-star," and that has to be RJ Barrett this year. He has to become an all-star. He has to ball out. He has to. The
And if
Knicks,
he
the
doesn't,
Knicks
and if
need
he doesn't,
one of their young core of RJ, Quentin, Obi, quickly, and I feel like RJ and quickly are ahead of Obi and Grimes right now because quickly I like quickly. I feel like he's a solid player off the bench. I feel like he could be a starting point guard. Um, but I feel like they need one of them. They desperately need one of them to become a star. Maybe two of them they need to become a star. Because if they don't become stars, then what really is this plan? You just like, yeah, we have a lot of first round picks. We'll just try it all over again. but it hasn't really worked.
But if RJ, look, the East is stacked with all stars. It's good. If I don't know if he'll make it, I think he'll be in contention. Yeah, if he has a good year, but if he doesn't, if if RJ Barrett's not an all star this year, excuse me, I already know that people are gonna uproar about him, being like, he'll never be an all star, blah, 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 like go crazy on Twitter, as we know.
Yeah,
Sharice Duncan in the chat, IQ and Grimes gonna be an all star. Not this
Sharice
year.
Duncan,
Not this
IQ, and
year.
Grimes are going to be an all-star. I think, like I said, I think Grimes is raw, but I think he has a lot of potential. He's a great shooter. You know, he shot 44% from corner threes. He really likes that corner shot. He just needs to stay healthy and he needs to play. That's the thing about Grimes. IQ is, I think IQ has shown us enough that I'm not really worried about IQ. I don't know. That's my opinion.
I just
What-
think that there's gonna be a lot of uproar if the Knicks don't have an All Star this season.
So what if they're all? I mean, they could have an all-star, but I don't. I feel like it depends who that all-star
It's
is.
only three people that are really gonna make an All Star. Um, is gonna be RJ, Brunson, or maybe even Julius Randle. If he has like a bounce back amazing year, he could be an All Star. But those are the only three guys that I really see have the potential to be an All Star. Everyone else is either still developing or too old. Like, like Mitch
Yeah,
is still developing. I know a lot of people are like, oh, like, did you see he's working on his 3-point shot? And did you see this? And I'm like, yes, but like, he's not going to be shooting
that's the thing
threes
with
on.
those summer videos. I don't really get fall in love with them. A lot of people on Twitter, they see players working out by themselves and shooting free throws, and they're like, oh, he's gonna shoot 80% from the line this year. I'm like, yeah, that's great that he's working on it, but he's an NBA player. Like that's what they
Yeah.
do.
Sharice Duncan back in the chat. It's a lot of pressure on RJ to be an all star. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. He's
I feel
going
like
into year 4.
RJ needs to be an all-star this season. I feel like
I feel rightfully so there should be a lot of pressure. If I was in the office and I literally had a meeting with RJ, because I know they have it like preseason, they all go into different meetings, I think. You got to be an all star this year. You're going into
yeah.
year 4. Look at what the rest of your class is doing. I know we don't like to compare him to the rest of the class, but I love RJ. I think he's great. Do I think
The
if he got
problem
traded
the
to
problem
Donovan
with
Mitchell,
comparing him
yeah. What?
yeah, the problem with comparing him to the rest of the class is his first the first two picks are so like Ja Moran and Zion are like, I mean, Zion, he's hurt, but he's shown what he can do. Ja Morant is already a superstar. I feel like people get caught up in comparing RJ to those two when in reality you need to compare him to everyone else because look, RJ is a really
And
good player.
I get it. Like a lot of people are like, he hasn't had the same opportunities. He hasn't had the same chances as those two players. So I agree. That's very hard to disagree with, but sometimes you gotta like I get like these guys had the impact since they stepped on the floor. And if RJ, like, we're going into like, let's say, year 6 and he's still not an all-star, it's going to be very concerning. And all the RJ stands are gonna back him wherever. And if RJ's not an all-star this season, I'm gonna be upset. If he's not next season, I'm gonna be even more upset. And then if he's not even an all-star in year 6, I'm just gonna be over it. Like, why are like, come on. Like,
Yeah.
you're in year 6. I hate this argument. It gets me so mad when people are like, he's only this age. I don't care his age. Stop using that as leverage. It doesn't work for me.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
granted, he is young. He's improved every year. This year we just want to see a little bit more from RJ. And that's
Yeah,
look,
he
he
just
got
got paid.
paid.
So I don't want to hear that
He
any
got
like
paid. Him and
and I
Mitch
think
got
that the rumors, a lot of people are concerned that like they affected the young guys and everything. Maybe it probably did. Probably rattled them a little bit that they might be sent to Utah, who's rebuilding. Um, yeah, it probably rattled them, but I think it motivated them more. That's the right word everyone should be using. It motivated them to be like, okay, you want to trade me? Like, I'm going to show you what I got now. IQ looks shredded. He's working in
I
the
know.
gym with
Yeah, he
Izzy.
does. Yeah.
He looks shredded.
He looks like he's
Absolutely.
ready.
He is he looks good.
That's
I just
yeah, that's what I was saying about IQ. I feel like IQ has proven to me that, I feel like he has more room to grow, but I feel like Grimes, we started off with it. Grimes needs to play 30 minutes a game. He needs to start. They need to ship out Evan Fournier. There's been reports that maybe they're shopping around Julius Randle, but it depends who you believe. Um, but
I don't if Evan's still on this team,
look, um,
I'm at a loss for words
look, I
because
don't mind Evan Fournier on this team if he's coming off the bench, but even
knowing Thibs, he's gonna start.
because I feel like Evan Fournier off the bench is actually a really like it could work off the bench. I feel like Grimes could beat him out in practice. I feel like he has already.
Yeah, but
But
then now what are you gonna do with Cam?
we talked about it early on in the show. Like
I
I
know,
don't
no, I
see
know he did,
him.
but I'm saying like
I don't
there's
see
just
him playing. Like I don't see him playing. Then like I don't see a spot on the rotation for Cam Reddish right now.
I
Do
know.
you?
No. And I said that on the Twitter space earlier before I joined that we did the show, and I was like, if you think he's getting more than 15 minutes a game, you need to stop. You need to
Yeah.
take a step back. Sharice Duncan, Mike D trolling saying Evan Fournier All-Star, book it. I don't believe that. Sharice Duncan, 7 seed at best this year. I don't even see us as the plan. I don't know about
Seventh
Anthony, but
seed
I
at
don't even 7 seed. That's a lot to ask. Look, you got to look at the
seventh seed
teams that
at
are in front of us.
best. Yeah. No,
Fournier,
I actually agree with that. Seventh seed at best. She's saying at best we can get to the seventh seed.
I don't see it.
Look. We talked about Brunson. I feel like Brunson's being very undervalued. Hartenstein is being undervalued. These guys are great. Like they're not okay, great players, but these guys are good
Watch your
players.
wording, Anthony.
These guys are good players, and I feel like they can overcome the Hornets. They can overcome Chicago, who's a mess right now. They can overcome. I mean, a lot of people like Toronto, but it depends. Their young players need to take a step up too. Everyone has pressure on them. So I feel like the Knicks have a more complete team than the Raptors, but the Raptors have more talent.
Yeah. Sorry, Duncan added in chat. Fournier never coming off the bench. Thibs wouldn't allow it. Well, would Thibs allow it if it meant that his job's on the line because we need to play the kids? Just something to think about. We got a point guard. Why not? The reason, okay, I'm gonna go back to the argument I said in last episode. I don't see us a play-in because you don't know what you're getting from RJ Barrett yet. You don't know how Julius Randle's gonna be. Yes, they did improve because they have a point guard, but the East is just so competitive this year.
Yeah.
Like it's really competitive. Look at the standings, look at every team. I don't know about Atlanta. That's the only team that kind of I'm like confused about. I don't know what Charlotte's doing. Mike said I think they're a better team than last year's team. They have a legit point guard this year. They have a legit point guard now, and they did 37, and they did win 37 games without that team. Well, that 37 games, yes, without a point guard, but also it was just
And
their
also
15.
last season they couldn't close out a game at
Exactly.
all. And that was due to the fact of not having a valid point guard.
Yes, and it was the
So
biggest thing. And they addressed. Look, you got to give them the office props. I'm not saying Leon anymore because I don't really understand what this guy's doing for us, but it's fine. The office did.
don't say that too loud. You might rile up a few people.
I put it in the chat if you disagree.
Yeah.
Show me one move that Leon Rose legit has done. He hasn't been on the phone call with one of the biggest trades in his tenure. You would think,
The Derrick Rose move was pretty savvy, but
okay, that was his one good move.
yeah.
That was his one move.
He's also
and he wasn't even on the phone.
but he's drafted Grimes. He drafted quickly. He's had some good drafts.
I feel like we say Leon Rose is like the whole office. Like, you
You got to give Scott Perry some love in there too.
Scott Perry's the one with the relationship in Pistons.
Yeah. You got to give him some love in there too.
He did that Derrick Rose trade. Oh my God, that changed everything. But do I think last year we could have been a play-on team with Derrick Rose healthy? 1,000%. Because Derrick was our real point guard on this team and we didn't have anyone to help him. And yeah, I don't know. I don't see us because I think the East is competitive. You don't know what you're getting out of the players because the Knicks are like that one team in the East. You never know what you're going to give them. They're
Yeah.
going to really disappoint you, or they're going to really impress you. It's never in the middle.
Yep. Hey, that's the thing. But yeah, I believe we can be a play-in team. You don't. That's up for discussion. But we're gonna wrap this up. It's 8 o'clock. Thank you for everyone who joined us. Please like and subscribe. Please follow me, Anthony Knicks Nation on Twitter. Please follow Charlotte. Let's Talk Knicks _ on Twitter. And we're gonna keep doing this. We're gonna keep growing. As the season comes sooner, we're gonna do this more and more often. Maybe pre and post games. We still
We
haven't
will
discussed
we
that
will give
yet.
you guys pre and post games. I can assure you. Don't worry.
Yeah. And yeah, can't wait for the season to start. Media days in about 3 weeks. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to some of the players speaking. But thank you guys for joining. So have a good night and peace.
Thank you guys for coming.